I'm old enough to remember when childcare workers were trained in basics, like how not to drop a baby or accidentally feed a toddler a peanut sandwich. But it was revealed today that government-mandated childcare training begins not with nappies and nutrition, but with lectures on gender identity. One of the first modules childcare workers must undertake in their Certificate 3 qualification is called Inclusion and Diversity. It's designed to give kindy staff an appreciation of children's, and I quote, culture, race, disability, gender and gender identification, intergenerational disadvantage, family type, sexual orientation and sexual identity. But that is not the craziest part. According to a report in The Australian, the training template puts diversity and inclusion training ahead of the module on children's health, safety and well-being. And so it should. What good is hygiene, food safety and infection control if kids can't identify which colours refer to which sexual orientations on the pride flag? Freya, this would be hilarious if it wasn't so damn scandalous.
So scandalous. And last year, there were 18,000 serious incidences in childcare centres. One child died. Over 3,000 were sent to hospital. Over 2,000 were unaccounted for, either lost or locked out of the childcare centre. So it is really serious.
Well, but how many were misgendered? None.
Zero.
So training is working.
Exactly.
But it's good.
I know, but it's actually not surprising because if you look at the National Quality Framework, which is essentially the curriculum for early childhood, they encourage educators to critically reflect, to employ post-structuralist and feminist critical theory, to look at sustainability and teach Indigenous ancestral ways of knowing. Like, I'm sorry, 0 to 3-year-olds, they need care, they need love, they need emotional support, preferably from their parents. They do not need lectures in post-structuralist feminist theories on sustainability and Indigenous knowledge.
Yeah, I think, some of this stuff is sort of nice and it's good. Hey, we should all get along and don't tease other kids because they're different or whatever. I think that's pretty much as far as it needs to go. I don't think you need...
That's just basic human decency. You don't need a cert.
I don't think kids in preschool need to sort of explore their sexuality or, answer questions about gender identity. And the real problem with this, though, was whether even if you're sort of not offended by it or you don't think it's outrageous in the collapse of Western civilization, which, we'll see. The problem is that in other reports, it has been shown that it is bureaucracy and paperwork and all this sort of unnecessary, like any training, any activity that you do that is not absolutely core to taking care of kids and educating kids is obviously taking you away from doing that. And we've seen that that childcare workers have said that, kids are slipping through the gaps. All the necessary safety procedures are not necessarily being followed. All the staff-to-child ratios aren't being filled, which, of course, is vital for safety and keeping an eye on kids and making sure any dodgy behaviour is picked up on. And that is not happening because childcare workers are understaffed and drowning in exactly this kind of dross. Crap that, look, it might not be terrible, but it's just not helpful. It just gets in the way of their primary focus. And you see this with teachers as well. I mean, the amount, and it's not just, with all the sort of PC, ridiculous, whatever it is, touchy-feely stuff, but even with things like, and again, they're so conscientious about it. If your kid falls over, they have to call you to give them a Panadol. They have to, if they scrape their knee, you need to sign fill out a form and sign a form that they've filled out to say that that they fell down and scraped their knee. And look, there are reasons for all of this stuff, and that's in part so they can pick up on any injuries the kid might have that are suspicious. But again, anything they're doing aside from that stops them from doing that, and that's all they should be doing. It's a bit of a
catch-22, isn't it? Because every problem in childcare then results in more regulation, which then just swamps childcare workers with a million documents they've got to fill out.
In fact, the answer to this, I think, is less regulation or less unnecessary red tape and more focus